today we are dealing with a very versatile topic nowadays, that is alternative fuels. Currently we all are dealing with like fossil fuels these days, right? We are dealing with gasoline, LPG, CNG, diesel, correct? Nowadays hydrogen is also in market, correct? So the basic motive of just having these fuels, which are newly introduced into the market, or we can say they are alternative fuels, right? The basic motive is that we have to deal with something else, and we cannot just rely on only our hydrogen, only on our conventional fuels, because we have limited resources, we have a issue of energy security, correct? So before moving forward, let's take, firstly we should know what are alternative fuels. Here this guy is thinking, what is basically the meaning of alternative fuel? So alternative fuel is when whatever we have fossil fuels, right? Those are the conventional fuels which are from decades, from hundreds of years, they are in the market, and we are extracting it from. We have refinery, we are extracting it from oil wells. We have it from the seabed, we are taking that, correct? But nowadays, we want something else, and these something else are alternative fuel actually. This something else is they are equally in energy density. We can say that they are a big competitor of fossil fuels, and the most important thing is that they are not going to vanish away ever, correct? They are the renewable energy resources. Okay. We might think that we all know that coal reserves, if we talk about the coal reserves, or if we talk about generally Gulf country has the monopoly of it, right? So they all going to, one or the other day, they are going to just vanish away or completely used. So we have to think something else. We have to think for saving our environment, correct? We have to think that we can just go for something which can be, which shouldn't be imported from anywhere else. We can just extract from our made in India. We can say that from India only. We can just produce it and just have reasonable prices. We can give it to our consumers. Correct. So we can say that it is a non-conventional and advanced fuels, and is derived from the resources other than fossil fuels, from the sugar cane, from the maize, from the barley. Right? We all eat that, right? And we know, but we can make ethanol from that. So that is alternative fuel. I guess you people are getting my point. And we also know that this fossil fuel is from years. It is hampering our environment in a very manner. You can say that the climatic conditions are getting worse. If we talk about COVID, we all remember that phase to the lockdown. The environment automatically gets rejuvenated, right? How? You stop all the vehicles and all, right? So these hydrocarbons in the atmosphere are playing the major role. They are playing the major role in damaging our environment. So we have to think something. We all have to think something else. We all have to go for some other methods of just driving our vehicles, our factories. We have to go for something else, right? So we nowadays our government also, if I am not wrong, entire globe is working on that. And if we talk about Asia, we are working with, we are in a very good state actually. We are going towards the blending from 10% to 20% ethanol. And if I talk about the America, and they are working from decades. If I talk about the Brazil, they are E100. I'll tell you later what is the E100. So we have to think about the greenhouse emissions. Also, it is our moral responsibility to think on this topic. So we all are here to have a session where we are going to learn about the alternative fuels, its importance, its advantages, and its future scope. So the question arises, as I told you before only, the question arises that is there a need of alternative fuel? Like we are going with it, right? Everything is going well. We all are living, we all are having, we all are taking, like breathing and fine. Is like what is the need? So the first most important need is that the conventional fuels are very limited. As I say, that most of the Gulf countries has a monopoly in that. And we all, the entire globe has to purchase it from them. Correct. So huge amount of our money is going in their hands. And we are importing and the prices raise and we all have to afford it. We have no other option. Also, nowadays they are here. They are in this earth and no one knows that when they are going to vanish away. Correct. So the most important reason is why we are turning into the conventional fuel like oil and petroleum is that they'll eventually run out, as I said. And they are non-renewable. We all know that. If they are going to just dry up today, we are not going to get it tomorrow. Because it took millions of years to be formed. So we can say that it is many people believe that it is associated with plethora of problems, and it is only about the energy security, if I say so. So, and the next is the most important: pollution and global warming. As I had given the example of the climatic conditions during the COVID, there was a drastic change in the environment. Correct. So it was there because none of the factories were working, none of the vehicles were on the road, nobody was driving, and fuel stations were locked. Everything was uh, in favor of the weather climatic conditions, in favor of the earth. So because it happened because our alternative fuels, sorry, our conventional fuels emits lots of harmful gases like carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, nitrous oxide, formaldehydes, if I talk about the diesel ones. So these all gases are very harmful to our human body and also to the environment. So they had a very negative impact on the environment. We have seen the condition of Delhi. They generally face smog. Right? So what is that smog? It is all because of the pollution. The air quality index is deteriorating these days. The children are unable to breathe. After taking birth only, they are suffering from some kind of disease related to respiration, like respiratory diseases, like asthma and all. So there is a serious need of thinking about the alternative fuel. Now, the next question is, okay, we know that there is a need, correct? Again, what should be the criteria? What should be the criteria for having these alternative fuels? So we will have a short discussion on this. The first one is resource-based energy density, right? So if I talk about this, that firstly, there should be availability. As we do not have any infra that is like from hundreds of years, from decades, something like that. We have to build some infra for that. We have a proper source of raw materials, and we should have a proper factory where we can extract those alternative fuels. Correct. So we should have a proper base, and whatever we are getting, whatever we are extracting from them, that should also be in the competition of those fossil fuels. If I say that we are getting some amount of energy from the gasoline, which is more than that of the alternative fuel. So none of the customers is going to just opt for the alternative fuels, right? Because they want that their vehicle should drive at this much speed, and they should have these kinds of facilities. Correct. So we should have a proper resource base first of all. We should have proper factories. We have proper setup for that. We should have a proper resource. We should have a proper. We should have a place where we can extract it. At factories, right? And also that we should have a proper fuel. Like after having the unit, also the cost of the raw material should not be very high. If the cost of the material should be very high, then we are not going to get the energy return on investment, right? Because if I say like we have to move towards a new technology, right? And we are shifting ourselves, so we are out of a comfort zone. Correct. So there we need, if we are investing something, we need that kind of energy, that kind of return. So the last is we have renewable character and low carbon emission. Whatever we are using, that should be renewable in character. Like we are using maize, or we are using barley or sugarcane. We are a nation where agriculture exists in sound manner. So we can say that yes, they're not going to vanish away. Barley is not going to vanish away. Maize is not going to vanish away. Or sugarcane is not going to vanish away. Correct. So we can extract ethanol from them time to time whenever we want to. And we have sugar mills. So we can extract ethanol from those from that feedstock, from the residue after making sugar. And after that, whatever is the residue, after that, whatever is like leaves behind, we can just feed to our cattle. We feed to our cattle. This is a win-win situation. So we can go for it, and we are doing that. Government is working on it. Government of India is working on it, and we are moving to where we have taken large number of steps on that also. And according to the report, we have we are going for around we are just increasing our ability in this. From E10 we are moving towards the E20 blending, and around it's around in 2025 we are going to just have it in all our vehicles, and currently we are dealing with E10. Okay. So we have talked about the criteria which we have to fulfill before opting any alternative fuel. We have to think about that we have a proper amount of arrangement or not. We have to think that is it economically feasible for us, and we have to think that also that is it renewable in character or not. We have to think that can we get it from the waste materials also? Can we go for the used oils also? Can we go for LDE also? Everything which is renewable in character. Can we go for that or not? And lastly, but not the least, that is it giving us the proper amount of energy? The most important thing. How much amount of this emissions are going to come out from that alternative fuel? Is it justifying or not? Right. So the next question is, there should be some standard specifications before we opt for the alternative fuel. So we can say that we have to run our engine. So specifications must be there before opting anything. We have come from a background where we get lots of energy, where we can drive very effortlessly. We never give a second thought, right? So we have to set some standard specification before opting anything like that. Before opting any alternative fuel, before giving it to consumers, we have to test, right? So the first thing is that the engine performance should not be compromised. We are seeing that we have CNG vehicles, CNG buses, right? And they are doing very good. Because they are having that, they are just generating that kind of energy, that kind of energy which is which is required for the bus, and because bus has to be in a drive in a certain limit at a certain speed. So they are good for it, right? And we have what like LPG. LPG is also doing great. CNG, we have CNG in our cars also these days. And the most the new member in this is hydrogen. We'll deal after that. We'll go in depth. Okay. Secondly is impact on emission, regulated and unregulated. So, for example, if we have like emission, no, we all have emission. We have Bharat State, right, in which the emission norm is predefined. So we have to think that whatever we are opting for, whether is it like the amount of emission coming out from it is more than that of the conventional fuels or less than that of the conventional fuels. What is the impact? Positive impact on the emission or like on the environment, or negative impact on the environment? If it is like generating more amount of pollutants, then there is no need of it, because the major reason why we are going for the alternative fuels are climatic condition, global warming. We have to maintain the environment. We have to maintain because we want our kids to be in a happy place where everything is good, like we are living. We don't want to give them that there is nothing, like no trees, no polluted pollutions everywhere. We don't want that. Like that future generation have to deal with that kind of environment. So we have to see that how much amount of pollutant is coming out from the particular fuel which we are opting. Next is impact of the engine materials, including metal, plastic, rubber. There is one thing very interesting, that some of the alternative fuels like ethanol has a property to corrode materials. So that is why the vehicles which we have these days, they can go for only 10% of ethanol blending only, not for 20%. We cannot raise, because as soon as we just raise that blending, that percentage of blending in the gasoline, then it will start corroding. If that engine is that whole thing is not designed for that. If, for example, if your vehicle is for E0, that means 0% ethanol and 100% gasoline. Right? If your vehicle is designed for that, you cannot use that blended fuel. If you're going to use that blended fuel, then your engine is going to slowly and gradually going to corrode, wear out. Okay, because it has that property. So before opting that fuel, we also have to think that whatever we are using, our engine material, the material of the body is according to that fuel or not. Does that fuel contain this type of thing in it? Okay. Next is impact on handling, operating, safety, toxicity, etc. Is it highly flammable? Is it odorless? What is the flash point of it? At what temperature is it ignites? Auto ignition temperature kya hoga? So there are the many questions that appears. So how we are going to handle it? For example, if we talk about hydrogen, highly clean. Okay, so handling it is very difficult. That is why it is not very much popular. But government is working on it. R&D department is continuously working on it, so that this clean energy comes on road. So, okay. Next is the need of any fuel additives. Is there any need of fuel additives? Do we have to add something in that, or any kind of lubrication? Is it going to hamper the health of our piston and chamber or not? So we have to look for it. Next is there any impurity in that? Does it contain any sort of impurity in it, which is going to hamper the health of the additive also? So we also have to think that. And the last but not the least, availability of standard test methods. Before test, without testing, we cannot launch anything, right? So we have certain tests, like what is the octane number of it? Why, is it going to, after having it on our, after just using it on vehicle, the health of the engine get compromised or not? Or is it going to help engine's health by just burning clean fuel, right? So we have learned about that. We have standard specifications and what are the criteria, what is the need, we all know that. Now the next is your types of alternative fuels. So as I told you, giving a lecture now, I have taken lots of names in speed, but I have taken, right? These names are hydrogen, LPG, ethanol, correct? So I'll just explain it one by one, correct? So okay. So first one is propane. Do we just wait for a second? Okay. Okay. So first one is propane. Have you ever heard about propane? You must have. We all use LPG, right? Which is a mixture of propane and butane and butane oil. Okay. So we extract it from generally crude oil from the refined. It is a byproduct of refining and oil. When of crude oil and gas. When we refine it, then we get this propane. It is 270 times more denser than that of your normal natural air. Okay, so USA generally uses it for and in their vehicles and oil, and we are also using, and we use it in our vehicles in the form of LPG. LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Everybody knows that, right? Okay. So the most important benefit is that very easily available. We all have it in our houses. Right? It is not at all harmful for the health. From hundreds of years, our mother, grandmother are just cooking food on that, and that it is very healthy. So we can say that it is eco-friendly food. So first thing is readily available. Second is eco-friendly. The two most important. Highly flammable, and we use it in a compressed state in our tanks, and we have a proper channel for that, in which the phase change takes place, and we can use it in a we have a kit, and we can use it in our vehicles after having that kit. Okay, so we get a proper amount of energy and effortless driving experience. Okay, so constraints, as I told, it is heavier than that of the natural air, so it is a strength. Okay, and it is highly okay. So we need it the consumption is 2 times in that of your petrol, gasoline. Okay, so we have to use it in double manner. Like if we are going for 60 kilometers in 1 liter, then we'll go for 30 kilometers. Okay. Second is the initial cost is high. After that, maintenance is low because it is a clean energy. Carbon will come out of it, but in a limited manner, carbon dioxide, but that will not hamper the environment because we have CO2 in our environment. Correct? Okay. Next is ethanol. Here comes our ethanol, which we have talked from past 10 minutes, I guess. So it can be extracted from your corn, maize, barley, vegetables, sugarcane, your yeast, anything. It is we go through a fermentation process and we get ethanol. Okay, and that ethanol can be used as a fuel in a vehicle. It do carry some properties which is not at all good for the health of the engine, but we can use some sort of filters or we can just change the material so that it is not going to affect the health of the engine. Balrampur Chini Mills is the largest producer in India, which produces sugar plus ethanol. As we all know that Balrampur district in India, Balrampur district of UP in India, has a large capacity to produce sugar, and they had a huge farmlands of sugar cane. So they produce sugar and ethanol. Okay. So what is the benefit of using that ethanol? Firstly, it has high octane number. What does this high octane number resembles to? High octane number means that you all have heard about that knocking characteristic, that sound. When the auto ignition is started colliding with the spontaneous ignition, okay, then a sound appears that is knocking, and it is going to wear engine parts, damage engine parts. It's going to hamper the engine's health. Okay, so it is an average of motor octane rating and your research octane rating. That means MOR plus RON divided by. Clear? We get the we get the number, and if I so the question arises, ma'am, how could we know that this is a premium amount, premium type of fuel? Premium octane, does it carries the premium octane rating? So the number is written on where the ethanol is 100% ethanol is used. The number is written over there. If it is written 87, it do varies from we have different certificates in entire globe, and it might vary with some digits. If it is 87, then might be somewhere it is 86 or somewhere it is 88, but not the major difference. So if it is written 87, that is a low grade of. If it is written 87 to 90, between that, then that is a we can say that mid grade. Okay. And if it's written 91 to 94, it is a premium quality of the premium octane. It carries premium octane. That is good quality. Correct? Okay. So the next advantage is that it is very efficient for engine. Very efficient because it is also a fuel which is good for the engines. Low maintenance is required. Okay. Only the one property it carries, which is not which actually which we can say that it is not good, that it is corrosion. But we have solutions for that, so it is not at all a bar right now. And second is less energy content. It can the energy which is produced is less than that of the conventional fuels which is produced. So somewhere it affects the we can say the popularity of it because of the energy density. Next is expensive. It is expensive. That is why we are using lead. So as far as Government of India's report, we come to know that currently till April 2023, we have to introduce E20. And till April 2025, we will going to be like in pan India, we have vehicles which are going to get be operated on blending of E20 E20 vehicles. Okay, so what does this E20 means? Or E10 means, or E3 means? Correct. This means that if I take E10, that means 10% 10% of ethanol is blended with 90% of gasoline. Okay, 10% ethanol is blended with 90% of your ethanol. Okay, and if I talk about 20, then 20% of ethanol is blended with your 80% of gasoline. Correct? And if I talk about E3, then 3% of ethanol is blended with 97% of gasoline, which Japan uses. It's not allowed there to use more than that. And if I say that we are using E100, then what does that mean? E100 means we are using 100% ethanol without the blending, without any blend. Okay, so now the question must have pop up in your mind that is there any nation in this entire globe who is using this E100? Correct? Yes, there is. Brazil is a country which is using E100, not from now, from decades. They have those vehicles which are good enough for this fuel. They all use corn or sugarcane for extracting this ethanol. We have E85. USA use E85, and currently we are using E10, and we have achieved the target of using E10 till April 2022, and then now we have target of achieving E20 in 2025. Sorry, we have to achieve that target. And the vehicles which are manufacturing in India these days, they are totally compatible for having ethanol blends with 10% ethanol in them. Okay. So government is also planning that they should be the vehicle should go for E20 now. So the materials which are now going to get manufactured will have 20% of ethanol. They can be compatible with 20% ethanol, but the materials will not get corroded. Okay. Now, the next comes is biodiesel. You must have heard about biodiesel. Biodiesel is a type of fuel which we get from the oils, soybean oil, vegetable oil, used oil, animal fats. Like restaurants generally have used oils, right? So they take that used oil. They take that used oil and they use it. So, but the question arises, ma'am, how could we use that? As a waste fuel, like waste oils, viscosity is so high. Yes. Generally, also the viscosity of biodiesel is higher than that of your conventional fuels, and this is the biggest reason why the biodiesel is not very low. Because you have to work hard on it to have proper viscosity, because viscosity plays a very important role. The blending in diesel is taking place. Sahil Chauhan, I'll just answer each and every question after that. Okay. I'll go to the chat box. I'll read all the questions. I'll answer all the questions. But before that, just attend it. Okay. Attend lecture first. So this is biodegradable and eco-friendly fuel, as we are using the used oils, or we are using the normal natural oils. Correct. We are using that soybean oil or sunflower oil or olive oil or this coconut oil. Any oil can be used, but the viscosity matters. Okay. So if the viscosity is not proper, the engine clogging may take place. Correct. And it is very much temperature dependent. The temperature is very high, the density will get, again, it will get thick. So viscosity plays a major role in proper combustion conditions, as you all know that. We have to use it in diesel. We have to inject through that injector, that jet, right? So viscosity plays a very important, because homogeneous mixing will not take place. Proper mixing will not take place, and the compression ratio is different. Mixing will not be proper, so we'll not get the proper energy, right? Okay. Next is electric batteries. We all are living in the era where the EV is very famous these days. We have electrolyte in which the positive and negative electrodes are there, and the reaction takes place, and we get the energy. Very clean energy, no wastage. We can say that no hydrocarbons in the environment, right? So it is very eco-friendly, easy service available. We don't have to go for the regular maintenance of cleaning and decarbonization and polishing and all. We don't have to go for the check of walls, that sticky walls. If it's sticky walls would have takes place, or misfiring is taking place. These type of problems doesn't appear in this. So what is the problem? Disadvantage. We require proper infra first of all. We should have a proper charging stations, place to place, just like we have fuel stations these days. From decades actually, we have a set infra for our for our conventional fuels. But if we talk about the alternative fuels, we have to establish that, and that is very important. We have to move smoothly in that direction. Second is shorter range. We have to charge it time to time. Few giant companies have launched some vehicles which can go far, but R&D is working on it, and there's a very high hope that coming eras of electric only, EVs only. Okay, next is hydrogen fuel cell. Few days back in India, we have hydrogen bus and hydrogen cars also launched by American. So our minister. So now we are also leading in that direction. Western nations are already are a great player in that, but we are in that sector now. So hydrogen is giving us the cleanest energy. What is the byproduct? H2O. That is water. Clean water. We are getting clean water from it. Okay. What we are using? Hydrogen and oxygen for generation of energy. So how we are going to extract it? We are going to extract it from from water, from natural gas, from with the help of sun also we can extract it. This is a slow process, but we can extract it. Electrolysis process, we can extract it. So what are the advantages? As I said, very clean energy. We get very clean energy. No hydrocarbons, nothing. So efficient for domestic purposes, energy security for future. Hydrogen is going to be in the environment, oxygen is going to be in the environment. Till this earth is there, they are going to be. So we have abundance of it actually, you can say that. So what is the disadvantage? First, it is very expensive. The process is expensive. The extraction is expensive. So it is we cannot, everyone cannot just afford that currently, but might be in future. We have high hopes that we all have that kind of vehicle which is generating clean energy. And next is that hydrogen is odorless gas again. It is invisible, cannot be seen, cannot be smelled. Odorless, tasteless gas. Highly flammable. So lots of precautions are required while handling it. And that is a major, I guess, the drawback actually, because it might cause accident. But the R&D, as again I said, working on it, and we have cars of Hyundai and Toyota Mirai. Yeah. So they are based on hydrogen fuel only. So the work is going on, and definitely in coming future we have a proper vehicle and with the proper handling characteristics. Okay. Now the next is biogas. Biogas, we all are familiar with biogas, in which we have a proper dome shaped tank in which all the organic materials like sewage, food, waste, excretas and all are, like, just throw in that, and anaerobic reaction, like that means in absence of oxygen, reaction took place and we had that biogas comes out from it. Correct. In rural areas, it is generally used. So we use that waste also, and we are generating energy from that. That is a very good thing. So it is also a clean fuel. The emission which is going to come out from the vehicle, or we can say that from the stoves and all, that is not at all harmful for the planet. Okay. So requires what will be the disadvantage of it? The disadvantage of it is that it requires proper refining procedures. It should have a proper unit where the refining takes place and the clean energy comes out, and we should have a proper stations where we can go for the fueling and all. Correct. Because mishandling can leads to pollution. So we should have a proper because it carries methane and all. Right. So hydrocarbons are there. So we have to deal in a proper manner so that pollution should not take place. Now the next is refuse derived fuels, like industrial, commercial, municipal waste. These are there. We can use these things to for making fuel, and we can say that they are also energy efficient, and we have heap of we can say garbage we have, and we can use that. We can use those landfill sites, and we can just have those that waste, and we can just generate energy from that. That's a very good thing, I guess. Great thing. So it is not a disadvantage that we have to depend on the quantity of the waste, because lots of waste is there. But the quantity of energy is little bit less than that of the conventional fuels. So this is the major drawback. This is a diagram which is I'm showing on screen. It shows each and every, here we have gasoline, also ethanol, biodiesel, CNG, propane, electric grid, and hydrogen. And this is a combined diagram of all. Here I can show you that if we talk about the gasoline or diesel, then the blending of biodiesel and ethanol can be up to 100%. As I said, that Brazil is using 100% right now, and it can directly go into the combustion chamber, and from which we can we have transmission assembly, and we can drive our car. Next is the CNG. In CNG, for propane, blending doesn't take place. We cannot blend it. So directly this energy goes into the IC engine, and from there we can go towards the transmission system, generate energy, and go to the transmission system, and then we can drive on. Next is electric grid. Electric grid, where we have batteries, in which we generate energy from that. We have and then we have two kinds of things. Firstly, we can generate energy in IC engine and save it in battery. This is also in which we we can go for the hybrid these days. And if I talk about the electric grid properly, then there we have electric batteries and we have electric motors attached with it. And from that electric motor, the power is generated, and the power is transmitted towards the drivetrain, and we have our car that is moving in a forward direction. Next is hydrogen. Hydrogen fuel, we have a fuel cell in which we have electrolyte, cathode and anode. We have cathode and anode sections in which the motion of positive and negative charges create a energy in which it is stored in a battery, and then electric motor comes into play, and then energy is generated from the fuel cell only. It is stored in a battery. Electric motor drives it, and our car moves forward. Correct. One thing we have also here is regenerative braking system, in which if the energy is an extra amount, it is stored and it is used when it is required. So the first diagram I am showing it on your screen is of hydrogen fuel cells, HFC. In this, the hydrogen comes in, and the charges, like the catalyst is there. We have anode and cathode sections, electrolyte is in the middle, and from these plates acts as the catalyst. So the charges runs from one direction to another direction, like towards the other charges, like of different polarity, and the heat is created. Okay, this is how the hydrogen fuel works. Next one is of biogas plant. If I talk about the biogas plant, then here we have a proper dome-shaped gas holder, and we have a cow standing over there. We have a slurry tank. We have solid waste material feed hooper. So these all things are going to this anaerobic digester, in which the energy, the reaction takes place, and the energy is generated. And from that gas holder, we just extract it and just refine it and use it. Okay. Next, the diagram which I am showing it on your screen is soybean is biodiesel, which is extracted from soybean. Soybean biodiesel, we will say that. So we have soybean, and we just make oil of the soybean. Then the transesterification process takes place in presence of catalyst like ethanol and methanol, and then after that, the reaction, we have two components, the glycerine and the oil, and that glycerine is extracted as we are seeing on the screen, glycerol, and it is used for the kind of work like for making soaps and all, or the glycerine like Vaseline and something like that. And after that, the remaining thing is a biodiesel oil. We have to wash it and dry it, and then the proper, which is we can say the product which rests behind is your soybean biodiesel. Okay. Now next is algae. This is the third generation fuel, which is extracted from the algae. We all know that algae, right? So firstly, algae is grown in its own by its own. There's we all have seen algae, or we can say kai in Hindi, and it is harvested. We just dried it, and we extract that oil from it. Then the fermentation takes place, and from that, bioethanol is created. And if we are having that algae oil, then we can create biodiesel. So two things can be extracted. Okay. Now CNG from the cow dung. Generally, the CNG is extracted. Full form is compressed natural gas, which is extracted from generally the natural gas, where the refining takes place. But nowadays, we can extract it from cow dung also. So again, the process is same as that of the biogas. We have the cow dung, and we can use waste crops also, like which is the pararinol and maize and any crop. So in a anaerobic digester, in the absence of oxygen, the reaction takes place, and then we have that waste, whatever the gas is there, we can we define that gas, and that gas is converted into CNG, and we can deliver it to the pumps. Okay, and we have it in our cars, in the fueling stations. Okay. So the next question is, why alternative fuels are preferred? We are preferring it because they have less cost. Generally they cost less than that of the conventional fuels. Because we are making it in our own country. We have proper resources of harvesting it and of extracting it. Correct. And we less waste is produced, particulate matters are not there, carbon monoxide is not there, and unburned hydrocarbons, and like it produces less. We cannot say it is not there, but the production is less. Correct. Next thing is that if we have proper plants, we have proper alternative fuel plants, then we can generate lots of jobs. As if I say that there's a survey in USA that after just opting for the alternative fuels, they they had millions of jobs because of this alternative fuel, because they had set up a factory, they had just contacted the farmers and all, and they had proper setup. So they have distributors now who are distributing this alternative fuel. They have fuel stations, they have workers on it. So lots of people are required, correct, for making a proper system, right? So we can say that it is going to produce lots of jobs. Like we have lots of we are facing unemployment these days. So if we prefer this alternative fuel, then we have lots of jobs in this section. Next is phasing out vehicles running on conventional fuels. So as I said that if I talk about India in 2025, we'll have E20 vehicles. But if I talk about Brazil, they are opting for E100. Correct. They are opting for E100. So you can say that the dependency on conventional fuels is nothing in their country. Like nobody's people are driving that. I'm not saying that they are not using it, but they have other options. So we don't have to face that financial and environmental repercussions also. Correct. Because we are going to extract in our own nation. We have like made in Bharat thing, something like that. Correct. So next is green hydrogen fuel electric vehicle. So as I said, hydrogen is the cleanest fuel amongst all, and it provides lots of the energy which is produced is equivalent with that of your conventional fuels. There is no compromise in the energy. So it's a zero emission thing, right? So best for the environment, best of all for our health and all. So why shouldn't we opt it? There's no reason for not opting it. Correct. Most vehicles to run on 100% ethanol, as I said. Okay, R&D is working on it in India. Few nations outside India, and that means in abroad, are like Brazil is using it. USA it is using E85, right? So we are moving towards that direction. This is the data where fuel ethanol production data, in which we have 27 billion gallons in 2021, and US is the largest producer of ethanol. So they are producing it, and we are somewhere in we are using 3%. We are producing 3% ethanol. So as per the government of India, we are working on it, and we are increasing our production also in coming years. Next thing is nowadays central and state governments are focusing on that. As I said, that we have just like I said before, only from E10 we are moving to the E20. So it is all because of the state and the central government only that they are opting for it. Next is Bihar is the first state to have its own ethanol policy. So it is good that some state have taken the initiative to start this policy for the ethanol and to go towards the clean fuel. Now the next thing is that what are the major challenges? Of course, everything comes with challenges. Nothing is ideal, right? So first thing is that food versus fuel. If we are going to use everything, like if the farmer comes to know that this is very much like profitable business, so they will go for the commercial farming, and they are going to just uh, they are just going to go for these type of crops only, which is going to benefit them in monetary terms. So there will be shortage of food, as USA had already faced that high raise in demand for the of corn for the production of ethanol. So the prices of normal the people not getting the normal corn in the malls and all. Okay, the price was really high because there was high demand for the production of ethanol. So the farmers were using in that, they were driven by profit and all. So this is a very very crucial topic to discuss on. Next is the relative cost, convenience, and availability of the alternative fuel compared to traditional petroleum-based internal combustion technology. So, as I said before, also that it should be cost effective, but currently it is not, because we don't have the proper infra for that. Because availability is not there, proper availability, and we don't have that proper infra also. So, currently it is a like huge investment. The development of distribution, storage, refueling, charging infrastructure. We don't have any of it right now, so we have to build that, and it will take some time. So it is a challenge. Currently, it is a challenge. We don't have energy storage systems, and as I said, that we are using hydrogen, and we want a proper storage facility. Or if we are going to use ethanol also, or if we are going to use the LPG also, or CNG also, these like LPG and CNG has a setup like we are using from decades, but the new introduced alternative fuels, we don't have that, so we have to maintain that. The environment and national security impact of food production. So we have to see how much it is affecting the environment and our national security. In fact, that if we are producing that, how much we are independent from the from importing the fuel. So it is also a challenge that how much we are producing it, and what amount should be there, so that we can have a profitable business in our nation, and we can go for water fuel easily. So just to see on your screens that there are some notified policies of the government, like how we are going to move forward, and how we are going to just go for the ethanol in India. So just have a look that it was in mandated in 5% in 2003, and in 2019, we have 10% ethanol blending with petrol. As per the Bureau of Indian Standards from 1st April 2019. But till date, we are just working on it. It is not in pan India. We have actually 10%. We'll go for 20% 2025. It was said that we'll go for 20% 2017, but it couldn't happen. So it will be into 2025. See, it is for the biodiesel, that policies of Government of India for the biodiesel. I hope you all have read. So what's the future scope? The last one. So the future scope, it is a bright future of alternative fuels, I can say that. And because the R&D is working really very hard to just to conquer this field of alternative fuels. They are continuously working with ethanol, with methanol, with this CNG thing, and with hydrogen one. They are working really very hard with so this, as in India we are moving from 10 to 20. US it is moving from 85 to 100. Brazil is already 100% ethanol. So entire globe is working on it. So we have a very bright future of having this ethanol in our fuel list. And if I talk about the methanol also, then it reduces 20% of the emissions of particulate matter, NOx and SOx. So it will improve the air quality. So we'll also methanol one day, because in India, if I talk about other nations, then they go for it. So we also have hydrogen these days, cleanest fuel, and so we are so uh, it is very like it is going to drastically change the environment in a positive manner. And if I talk about the bio CNG, then it is from the cow dung or from the organic matters only. It will get from the crops only. So it will definitely have a very bright future, and it can be delivered. It can be we get it from the normal CNG stations also. So yes, we have a proper resource of it. We have crops, we have animals in our country, so we can go for it easily. So as bio-CNG standards by the Bureau of Indian Standards have been made equivalent to CNG standards, that bio-CNG is equivalent to CNG standards. So we can go for the normal CNG supply outlets, and we can have it, we can fill it in our normal CNG cylinders. So it's a huge victory, I guess. And if I talk about the dimethyl ether, then it has a very high CTN number, and we can use it in our diesel vehicles very easily. So again, the this blending will reduce the NOx, SOx, and particulate matters. We have third generation fuel. The third generation fuels are based on these algae, which I told you before. So this is a very has a very great future because we can extract energy, and it will give us very clean emissions, which is not going to impact the environment in that manner. So, so uh, we have deal with all the alternative fuels.